Hi, I'm Tiffany Johannes with Remax Executive, and today I'm here to talk to you about what's going on in the market relative to the week of May 11th. A lot of my clients have asked me, will home values appreciate or depreciate in 2020? And I'm here to talk about that today. So let's get started. As we go through the market update, you'll note that major financial institutions across the country are calling for a second half recovery. And by that, I mean, look at Goldman Sachs numbers, look at JP Morgan Chase, look at Morgan Stanley. They are all looking at an increase in the second half as compared to Wells Fargo. And then Wells Fargo shows a small one in the fourth quarter. So we're looking at some improvements as we move forward. We've probably hit the bottom thus far. And two forces are preventing the collapse of the housing market prices. One is relative to a large supply deficit of houses in our market. The second is there's been pent-up demand for household formations. And what that means is buyers are out there. You can see it as you start to look at the numbers. When we look at the impact of real estate in North America overall, and when you look at North Carolina numbers, it's the same chart. We had that steep drop off mid-March. Now, as you look, since about April 12th, we've been seeing gradual increases week over week to where we get to today. This number is going to continue to go up as we see more buyers entering the market. It was evident over the weekend, and it will continue to be evident throughout the week. As we look at inventory, month supply of inventory, a lot of you have heard me talk about this. 6 months is an even buyer and seller market. Well, in today's market, if you look at the numbers, we are still hovering in that 2 to 3 month range. And so we are a seller's market. And without more inventory on the market and with more buyers entering the market, we're going to continue to stay in this lower level. What does that mean for us and what's happening out there? When you look at the Bureau of Statistics, you would think this year is going to be a wash. And you're probably hearing lots of people talk about 14.7% unemployment. It's unheard of. We haven't seen it, but we still think this is going to be a bounce back. Even with the amount of people going unemployed, all the indicators are they are going to be reemployed as we enter the third and fourth quarter. When you break down unemployment overall, why I'm not as concerned as I would be, 85.3% of people are still back at work, still working today. That 14.7% has gotten unemployment, they've gotten a stimulus check, and the small businesses have gotten the PPP loans. The government has stepped up. They've also continued to maintain a low interest rate. And as you look at the number of people surveyed, 90% of the 14.7% of people believe they will be back in the workforce soon. They believe it's only temporary. 10% think it is permanent. And when you look at the number of people looking at the statistics that are adult male and female, it is a lot lower in adult males and adult females than it is the teenage population. A lot of teenagers have lost their jobs recently. And when we look at buyer traffic and the indexes, we're starting to see people come back. Just like that graph showed us earlier, you're starting to see in North Carolina and South Carolina the buyer traffic come back. What we're not seeing is the seller traffic, sellers putting their houses on the market. We need sellers to put their houses on the market. So if you are a seller and you've been at home for the last month or so and you've been contemplating a move, maybe today is the right day, maybe this year, maybe this time period is right for you, whether you want to downsize, whether you need more space, or whether you just want something different to look at. Consider putting your house on the market, because from a standpoint of the economy, housing is going to continue to lift us up, and your home values likely will not go down. And why I say that is because the demand is still there. While someone could cook at home, they couldn't buy a home during the time of our pandemic for the most part. So as housing supply remains historically low, we will see price growth slow, but not to a negative standpoint. And that's a chief economist from First American. As we look at the numbers, I'm going to share information with you week in and week out. But right now, the message is the housing market is making a comeback right now with more buyers getting out to look at homes. Sellers need to consider looking at listing their home if they're thinking about it. And those that are unemployed will likely be back in the workforce soon if they're not already. If there are any questions that I can answer for you or any information I can provide about your local neighborhood, or community, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm Tiffany Johannes with RE/MAX Executive. I appreciate your time and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.